Speak No Evil is a new horror thriller movie starring James McAvoy, Scoot McNary and Mackenzie Davis. It is a remake of a Danish film of the same name that I haven't seen. I want to get right into it. Was this film good? Yes, it was. I was thoroughly entertained watching this new movie. Recently, I've been watching a lot of horror suspense movies that are just all about atmosphere and keeping you on your toes, and this is another example of one of those. It's a Blumhouse production, but it's very tastefully done because it's character driven and all of the horror is based off of the tension of the performances. There's no cheap thrills, it's more so about the dynamics between all of the characters, and it's a very small cast, but it's a character drama, it's a character thriller, it's mostly about the dialogue, which I really like. To give you a brief synopsis, this film is about an American couple who are living in London. They go on holiday to, I believe it's Italy. There they meet a British couple from the West Country, I believe it's Devon, and the two couples sort of hit it off, and the American couple, who are the protagonists of the film, are sort of like allured by these people because they're very charismatic, especially James McAvoy. And James McAvoy is of course the British husband, and I don't want to spoil anything, but most of the tension comes from him. But this synopsis in particular is fun because it's playing off the idea of meeting another couple on holiday and not knowing that much about them, but also being charmed by them. But you have that sneaking suspicion of, okay, that person's nice, but what's really going on behind the scenes? Like, have they got any skeletons in the closet? And I really love horror movies or horror stories that play off real life experiences like that. Obviously this is like the worst case scenario version, but it's playing off that tension of the stranger kind of thing.
Listen, you have to come and visit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah? Yeah. Done.
It is a remake, so perhaps I shouldn't be giving it too much credit for that premise, but I just like it all the same. So the biggest draw of this movie is James McAvoy and his villainous portrayal. That's why a lot of people would be going to see this, like, oh, that guy looks scary, like he's scary. And James McAvoy is absolutely brilliant in this. He provides all of the tension that is needed from him. A lot of the film is resting on his shoulders after all, and he is just completely there for it. He's quite an established and mainstream Hollywood actor, but he goes to some fairly dark places in this. It is quite the hateable performance towards the end, and I commend him for going that far with it. I don't know what the general consensus on James McAvoy is, but he can be quite a patchy actor sometimes. Like, there are certain X-Men films where he isn't brilliant, and It Chapter 2, he was pretty awful in that, honestly, so he doesn't always provide a great performance. To me, he's not one of those performers that is always a surefire thing, but in this, he delivered again. This is a good one.
What is wrong with you?
He's almost playing a kind of hippie type of guy, but it's not a stereotypical version of that. He isn't cartoonish, but he is feasibly countercultural in a way because of the things he does and says. He's someone you could imagine yourself coming across, which is nice, at first he is at least. He also just starts the film as one of those individuals that can be very likeable and charismatic and very alluring to people. But of course, people who are gifted at putting on those fronts can have a darker interior. His performance does go a little camp in certain areas, but it's an appropriate level of camp, or at least that was the case for me, because the film is also a horror film at the end of the day. It was just the right amount of overt sort of cheesiness where it didn't break my immersion because it just fit. It maintained just the right level of believability and theatricality, I think. The whole cast of this film was really good. Again, it's character driven, it's all relying on them. There was a little boy character and he did very well because a lot of the scary scenes kind of revolve around him. Scoot McNary, I've only just learnt that guy's name, but I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. I think he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Fargo, just these little bit roles, but he's always very competent, and he has a distinct look, a distinct feel as well, and he was just very good at portraying this semi-weakling husband, and I enjoyed just watching him. Again, not cartoonishly oh honey, I don't know what to do, I can't pick up this hammer, but just sort of feasible. I liked his mini character arc he had in this, where he had to stand up for himself and kind of become a bit more of a responsible father, should we say, or a more assertive father. That's probably the correct way of saying it, kind of besting this other macho, hey, have you tried what is it, cold water swimming for therapy? Yes. The actress who plays Scoot McNary's wife, also very good. I've seen her in other things too. In scenes where tensions were starting to boil over between these two couples, she was was really good. She was like the most assertive person in those situations. A lot of this film is kind of her being freaked out by this other couple and being like, what the fuck's going on here? We need to leave, but also just acting very rationally. So this whole film is basically the American couple go over to Devon, to the West Country, and stay with James McAvoy and his wife for a couple of days. And the whole shtick is that they're quite an unconventional hippie couple again, and they're showing them around and doing all of these weird activities. Well, not weird, just countercultural activities, like talking about hunting and like diving into cold water lakes and stuff. And that sort of descends into weird shit, like weird counterculturalism. But at the start, it's kind of fun, it's kind of cool. And the wife, the American wife, is just kind of like, what? What's this? Ooh, oh, that kind of gives me the wrong vibes. And she's right to think that in the end, but like, just the thing she's seeing then, like, no, you're kind of being a bit of a party pooper here. Her character isn't 100% like that, but just at the start of the film, she's just kind of lame. I say all this, but if I came across someone like James McAvoy's character in real life, I'd be very suspicious of them, and I always am with people who are just like, I make friends wherever I go, I'm just a happy chappy, I'm very charismatic, I've just got a lot to say on loads of different topics, you know, he can't shut me up. People like that, just be wary of people like that, mate. There's dark charisma in this world. Scoot McNary has flaws of his own, like he's kind of dismissive about the daughter's condition. Like she's clearly got severe anxiety and he's like, you just need to grow out of it, sunshine. So yeah, she sucked. But it's not just because she's vegetarian, it's not that. Like I don't care about that, that's fine. But it's just something about how she behaves, I don't know, her mannerisms, I don't know. Also, there is plot elements that I'm not going to spoil that do kind of tie into why she's unlikable. Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on this woman, but she did do one thing and I can't get into it. She's so fucking annoying! Another important thing that this film gets right is that when the characters decide, okay, we should probably leave now, like this is a bit too weird, it's right at the moment where most of the audience would also make that decision if they were in the same situation. Like, it doesn't take that much weird shit, like that many red flags for them to be like, okay, this is something else, there's something else going on here. Let's boo-boo. Because in certain films like this, you'd have characters like put up with a lot more weird shit, like maybe it's just an unconventional way of doing things. I don't know what the culture's like over here. But in this, it's like, okay, that's just teetering over the edge of reasonable, let's get the fuck out of here.
I want to back up the car, and I want to leave now.
As I mentioned before, it's a character-driven film. I'm going to be fucking saying that like 60,000 times throughout the course of this video. But because it's character-focused, the direction is quite, well, reserved, I should say. It's not like bland or basic or anything, but it lets the performers do their job. It's all focused on them. They carry all of the suspense, all of the captivation. So it's not one of these overly cinematic Netflix-style shows with show-offy cinematography that's wanting to prove a point. It's just what the film needs. Nothing pretentious about the storytelling, it's just effective storytelling. It also just takes its time. It's not a crassly formulaic film. We get to know the characters, things proceed at an organic pace. It is, however, a partial mystery thriller, and as is the case with a lot of these kinds of films, when the mystery is revealed, you aren't as captivated, things aren't as tense because the ominousness has gone, you know everything. It's like in a creature feature where you haven't seen the monster for most of the film, and then near the end you get a good look at it and you're not scared anymore because you start envisioning ways of beating it up. I did like the reveal, and it was quite disturbing, especially regarding like the involvement of a little child, should I say. I'm not going to spoil anything again, but there was a kid character and some pretty gnarly, upsetting things happened to him, or at least he'd experienced some pretty horrible things, and I thought, fucking hell, like I thought the film went pretty hard in that direction. That was the most kind of disconcerting, disturbing thing for me, at least. But a lot of good horrors are only as good as they are because they had the guts to go to certain dark depths, should we say. It's not like fucking absolutely awful, it's not like fucking Sallow or anything, but it's just like, shit, that's pretty nasty. However, also regarding that reveal, I have to say that I didn't really find James McAvoy's motivations well put across. The way it was presented, I found his motivations to be quite thin. We get one brief line where he quickly exposits the reasons why he's doing this, and it just wasn't satisfactory. But then again, he's clearly not all there, and perhaps like that's the point. Like whatever way he tries to justify this, it doesn't really matter because he's fucking insane. But if there was supposed to be this sort of classism theme going on, it wasn't well fleshed out. Yeah, the stuff he does is fucked up. It's beyond the realm of rational thinking.
No!
overall, I really enjoyed this film. It wasn't like incredible, it wasn't a masterpiece, but I don't know how good it would be on rewatch, you know, because of all the tension's gone. But for now, really enjoyed this film. I'd highly recommend it. Hey! Bloody. I was gripped the whole way through, and I went into the cinema actually quite sleep deprived, and I was just completely awake for the whole duration. I completely forgot I was sleep deprived. It was just like, I'm so immersed. I do really like these simple horror movies with these basic premises, and it all comes down to the execution. It's really cool. You can see all the creativity. They honestly don't need to do that much to be really enjoyable. If it can successfully create a tense atmosphere, then that's 90% of the work done. Of course, having those good performances also plays a vital role in all of that too. The fact that these characters feel like real people makes it all the more disturbing when things start to turn awry.
We can't look stressed or scared. Just have to go out there and be completely normal.
And remember to fucking subscribe. Yeah, so that's my review. That's that done, and yeah, I liked it, so go and watch it. Honestly, I thought this film was going to be complete shit because the trailers made it look like some generic Blumhouse, scary, creepy man movie. The trailers did such a hatchet job with this, honestly, like it just made it look absolutely shit.
Dad?
I remember I saw this trailer at the same time I saw the Trap trailer, and I just remember thinking that we were in this sort of epidemic of trite, psychopath, creepy man smiling movie, and they all have shots of the main guy doing a crooked smile like... Oh, that's just a new cliche. But no, this is much better than Trap. Like, Trap was the bad one, this is the good one. Well, actually, Trap wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it in a kind of goofy, schlocky way, but it's not, like, good. It's just sort of dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb, sort of basic, entertaining, silly. I don't know. It's hard to quantify that. I've got another bullet point here on my phone that just says MILF. I know exactly what it's referring to. So yeah, James McAvoy has like a really hot wife in this, and just that was kind of distracting. And I was like, nice. Like she was like just on the precipice of being like a cougar, but also just young enough for like, yeah, you're fine, girl. Yeah, and I'm not misogynistic at all. I don't objectify women. But yeah, she's a total effing MILF, to quote the guy from The Matrix Resurrections.
Total effing MILF.
Also, I had a really weird experience watching this in the cinema because there were like these two audience members behind me just constantly chit-chatting about random shit. Not all the time, but just enough to be like, you do know where you are. But the thing is, I did quickly deduce that the guy who was doing most of the talking was like probably quite autistic, or at least like mentally handicapped in some way, so I just like I let it rip, you know what I mean? Those are the only kinds of people that get the pass of talking in the movie, because, you know, it's just, yeah, you don't want to be a dick, do you? But before I quite realised what was going on, it was quite funny because the person behind me seemed to have this strange obsession with the child character in this movie who couldn't talk. You're given vague reasons as to why he can't talk, and it's kind of like a weird mystery thing. It's like, what the fuck's going on there? But yeah, there was this one guy behind me who was just kind of really just, I don't know, he was just like really entertained by that idea, and he kept mentioning it. It got to the point where every time the kid was just on screen, like as soon as it would cut to him, the guy behind me would just go, can't talk, he can't talk, that boy, he can't talk. Like, it was like, and that kind of tipped me off, like, okay. It was constant, it was so consistent. As soon as the kid was on screen, it was like, can't talk, that boy, he can't talk. It was kind of sweet, actually. It was kind of like, I don't know, you know, fucking, like, you know when a Pokemon just repeats the same word over and over again? Can't talk. It's like, really, you can't talk? I didn't catch that. Thanks for just clearing that up. Oh, you tell me again? Oh, cheers. You know, I had actually forgotten about that. I forgot that point. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. Anyway, that very respectful and PC rant ends this video. Peace out. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.